Hey, what's up, everyone? I am going on to talk a little bit about organizing your library in terms of author names, Author Central with Amazon, and things like that. There's been some questions as to what are some good ways, and so I thought it would be a lot easier to just jump on, do a quick video. So this is just how I do it, and some of my tips. It doesn't mean this is the end all, be all, and the only way of doing it, or anything like that. It's, like a lot of other things in this business or any business, it's a lot of personal preference. So you can do it however you want, but when I just take into account, customer experience, I take into account Amazon algorithm, and how am I going to get the best rankings that I can for my listings, for my books. So I want to show you guys, and if anyone is on live, feel free to ask any questions. I'll be able to answer them as I see them here. And if you catch in the replay, catching the video later on, that's awesome. Also comment below any questions that you have. And as always, please don't forget to subscribe to the channel. So, all right, cool. So let's take a look at this first one. So this one is a regular product listing. It's a book, right? So this is one I did as a different example one day under my brand side business launch, which is, what the group is and everything. So for this, I just wanted to illustrate that this is one way that you can do it. If I click on that, as customers sometimes do, oh, this one might be a bad example since I already started to set up the author page. So let me go back. Let me just find something else that perhaps doesn't have that. I didn't think that would be up yet since I just did that, but let's do something different here. Let's do an expense tracker and see what we come up with. Maybe even giving you some ideas there, but let's, I want to look at one that's really not selling because chances are they might not have something set up. Let's go with this guy here. And let's take a look. So I think you guys have all seen it before, but basically if I click a brand name and they don't have an Author Central page, for some reason I went to the wrong book. If they don't have an Author Central page, then basically it just looks like a listing of books. So branding wise, that's not that great. Okay, so yeah, so this one has like an Amazon store. That's not what I'm looking for. So sure, we'll find someone. And again, in the meantime, if you have any questions, ask it below. And let's see if we can find one here. Seen a lot of good sellers, but then again, that's because we're on page 1. My Wi-Fi is acting up a little bit. I do see we do have a comment, Alfuric. Hopefully I'm saying that right. He's been very active in the self-publishing group, so thank you for that, and answering questions and helping people. So I am sure he's along his self-publishing journey in this business model very well. And let's see, I can't seem to find one, but I think you guys know what we're talking about. Let's see if this one here we can come up with. But basically, when you click a brand name and there is no author page, no branding, and there's just a listing. Now, the problem with that is you could also wind up being grouped with other similar keywords. So that's the only problem with that model. If you don't do an author page and you put everything under one brand name, you could wind up having a lot of other listings in there that are not yours. That there's a good and bad to that. If they sell well, then maybe you'll get some extra eyeballs. But if not, then maybe you're doing the opposite and you're giving them some eyeballs on your listings. So those kind of go both ways. Now, with that being said, I had mentioned in the group that I have about 20 different author names. Now, that's not to be confused with 20 different author pages. So that means, let's see if this one happens. So that means that for some of the segmentation I do, depending on what type of book. All right, here it is. Here's what I was looking for. So when I click on it, I get this listing of all these books. So it's not an author page or anything like that. It's just all under the same brand name, in this case, Carmen Mitchum. Okay, so that means that this person put 90 books under that author name and wants them grouped together. Now, let's say my name was similar. Let's say it was Carmen Mitchell or anything like that. Then there's a chance that it might even turn up on this page. That's the only problem with doing it that way. However, like I said, for sometimes I'm fine with it because I'm not going to build a brand for every single segmentation I'm doing. As an example, if I'm doing some expense trackers like I just punched in, maybe I'm not going to do tons of books on that, and maybe I'm not going to do a whole lot of marketing on that or anything like that. So that means that I'm fine with doing something like this, where I just put it all under one brand name, just like this, and it's fine. It's that way. If the person clicks through, they can see some of my other titles. Now, if I want to take it one step further, that's where Author Central comes into place. And then it looks something like this. So that means that you can have a nice logo put in here. People can follow you, whatever the heck that means. I haven't really cracked the code on that. I don't know if you really get email notifications or not, but they can follow you. I believe they do get promotional emails from Amazon on that. And, the other thing as well is that it just, from a branding aspect for like the customer, it just looks nice. It looks better to have books set up like this, all in one place and everything like that. So it is nice. And you can also wind up being here in the recommended. So if somebody visits some of these similar type authors or brands or books, you could wind up here as well saying, people also bought by Creative Pen, and now you're getting some extra exposure really for free, just, going off of other brands. So I definitely recommend that as well. Now, I have a question here. Can I add categories in my keywords also, so to make my books appear in the whole categories related to my books? I'm not too sure if I understand the question. I guess, are you meaning like the names of categories in the keywords? Like if you're putting it in time management category, if it's a planner, can you also put time management in your keywords? Yeah, you can, and again, you don't want to repeat keywords a lot though. So if you do have that in your title or subtitle, then you're not going to have to put that in your keywords, because it's already represented in something that carries good weight, whether it's a subtitle or the title. But yeah, that's certainly up to you there if I'm understanding that question that way. And okay, so yeah, he said name of categories. Yeah, perfect. Exactly. So you can put it in there again, unless it's in the title or subtitle, then you're not going to have to, since it's already getting some SEO juice that way. So that's what I'm talking about. When I talk about setting up an Author Central page, I'm not sure how many Author Central pages I have, probably about, I'd say probably about 7 to 9 of them that I really take my time and do good books for. I brand it. A couple of them even have social media presence and everything. So that's what I reserve doing an Author Central page for. Like if I'm going to put time into it, if I'm going to put more books out there, potentially build a brand, potentially do social media and everything like that. So when you go to Author Central, you would first pick the book. First, you have to do at least one book in that author name, and then it's going to ask you when you first sign up to pick which book it is. And then you would go ahead and pick more books and add to it. So I have that one that I already added to it. And as you can see, it went live pretty quick. I did that right before coming live on here. Then I can click on add more books to do some more. And then you get the sales info and rank and all that good stuff all in one place for this brand. So I kind of like it. It puts it all in one place. And then if I build out more brands, I can click this over here and they would appear here, up to 3 of them. So that's the thing, is that with the Author Central, I just think it adds some nice branding to it. This looks nice. Like if I'm a customer and I click through to the brand name, I'm going to like seeing this. It builds credibility, like it's a legit brand and not just, some random book being up. So I personally like that. And I've had a couple of reviews that have actually referenced my Author Central pages. So again, does it mean that it's going to get you tons of extra sales every day? No. But if it gets me some extra sales here and there because it built enough credibility with someone, then I'm fine with that. The other thing you can do is when someone buys a book, they're not really paying attention much to that brand name unless they visit the Author Central page and they see this experience. And it might even help with word of mouth. So if somebody shows their book to someone, they're like, oh, I love that. Where did you get that? Most people would just say Amazon, but then it's kind of hard to look on Amazon. So you would want someone to say, I got it on Amazon. The name is Creative Pen. And if we're using this example. So now it's a lot easier for somebody to search Creative Pen and get that same book, as opposed to just jumping on Amazon where there's millions of products available and they probably will not find it, even though somebody recommended it to them through word of mouth. So again, that's just the branding and business person in me that I really am big with things like that. So I do highly recommend building out a few author pages for the brands you're going to, specialize in, or that you're going to want to do more work with in marketing and things like that, or more listings. And then for the other ones that, you don't necessarily want to do tons with, you still want to, segment by names of authors. So basically this Creative Pen could be one, but then this person maybe has some, expense trackers under another one and music books under another one. And all those can represent different brands. That way it's very clear to the customer what they're getting when they click through. So that's my opinion. That's my take on it. If you have other questions afterwards, feel free to ask it in the self-publishing group. I'll have that link below in case you're not a member. It's a free private community on Facebook where we talk about the self-publishing and especially low content publishing as well. So definitely join that if you'd like, or ask any questions below here on YouTube as well. I'll be glad to get back to it, answer any questions. But hopefully that helps the few questions we've had recently in the group asking about author pages and how I segment books and whatnot. So the short answer is some of them have an author page like this. If I'm going to do further marketing and I'm really going to do a lot of work with the books and add more and more, and then others just kind of have, all under the same brand name. If it's going to be something that I'm not going to do tons of, or even if I am, but I'm just not going to build a brand, but I do want to segment it all under one. So the segmenting doesn't have to be too deep. You don't have to go too crazy with it, in my opinion. But, as far as the type of book or the type of audience, that's what I try to segment by when I do mine. So hopefully that helps. Any questions, let me know. Again, don't forget to subscribe, and I appreciate that. And that way you don't miss any other future videos. And I hope you all have a great day.